Hey guys, got a great question from Dhaval. I'm going to answer it quickly and succinctly here. If you want more content like this, please go ahead and subscribe below. Leave a comment if you have any questions or comments. What we're going to talk about today is what is the best B2B SaaS, so business to business, software as a service, so computer software. What's the best B2B SaaS niche to sell cold email to as a service? Okay, so to do cold email for a B2B SaaS company and get them leads or appointments. There's a couple things I want to go over here. It's a bit of a complex question. So number one, what side of the equation are you on specifically? Do you have a passion for SaaS? Are you like a nerd for Product Hunt and you're always looking at SaaS companies and you're really into SaaS? Is that your side of the equation? You're going, I also know cold email, so I'm thinking of helping SaaS with cold email. Or are you on the cold email side? Did you learn cold email and now you want to sell it to somebody and you're just like randomly like SaaS? Yeah, SaaS, they have money, right? If that's the case, I would say and I've seen a lot of people doing this recently. They've been kind of like learning cold email from one of the many courses or sources right now that's sort of hyping cold email up for whatever reason. And then they're kind of going out and like looking for a niche. So in my opinion, niches are one of those things, like you really do want to have a connection to the niche. Okay. So like if you're coming from the B2B SaaS side of things, I think that's a great thing. It's a great niche. It's if you have the passion in it and you want to understand it deeper and you're like into SaaS, and technology and stuff. I think it's great. B2B SaaS companies, and I'll go into this in a second, but there's different levels of B2B SaaS companies in terms of who they serve and what kind of solution they bring to what problem. And there's a lot of other services out there that you can sell to SaaS companies, right? Like you have things from everything from SEO to paid ads to a service to help them with retention because to lower churn rates. And if you don't know the terms I'm talking about right now, you got to do the research, right? There's all the like SaaS is its own little world, and you really need to know it to sell anything into it. So there's a lot of research to be done, and I mean, if you're new to this whole thing, it's going to be fairly tough. And I would say that there's all kinds of ways to get started in SaaS if you really want to like dive into SaaS, learn everything you can, then go offer a service to them because you learned where their pain is. It may be a good thing for you to go join a SaaS company, go work at a startup, to go apply for jobs at startups or try to work on an early stage SaaS or find partners that are making SaaS and try to help them and then move from there to offering a service or something like that, right? To find somewhere where to get experience, because it's not exactly like other industries where leads and appointments kind of like rule the business. It's in SaaS, it's sort of a different thing. So that's what I want to kind of jump into next is, so if this is what you really want to do, so the only niche, the only sub niche inside of B2B SaaS that you can sell cold email services to would be enterprise level SaaS. What does enterprise level SaaS mean? It means it's a B2B SaaS company, a software company that's selling to larger organizations, that's selling to enterprise level clients. And in that case, it's like the unit economics change. So like, basically you're not selling one subscription and getting that monthly. You're selling multiple like licenses to the software to multiple people within one organization and getting one annual or monthly check from that whole situation, which can be very sizably, it can be a pretty big check, frankly, because the more people they have in the company that need to use the software, the more they pay. So in that situation, if they have an enterprise plan or they're an enterprise only type SaaS, or they sell like a service along with the SaaS, which I've seen, HubSpot used to, I don't know if they still do this, but they used to do that, where there was like, an optional, setup where you work with an expert over to HubSpot to set up the software for your organization and, customize it right to your specifications. So there's all kinds of, like SaaSes like this. I think you just need to figure out, okay, so from that, so you have B2B SaaS, now we're in enterprise level SaaS. You need to filter it down one more notch, and you need to say, okay, I'm going to work with, insert your industry here, enterprise level SaaS. I would say to get that specific would be very important. So you need to, where do people use SaaS? In almost every kind of business. So you have like medical, you have healthcare and medical, you have supply chain, industrial stuff, which very few people talk about. There's all kinds of stuff like that. You have ERPs and CRMs, and you have so sales stuff that sell into certain niches. You have the list goes on. I'm not going to list every B2B SaaS, kind of sub niche, but there's all kinds of industries that SaaS products that target certain industries. And the more you know about those industries and about the SaaS itself and that kind of the way that these things interact, the better results you're going to be able to get with something like cold email, because you're going to need to be emailing top level, mostly executives and some directors and just whatever your job title stuff, and you're going to need to be kind of pitching to these guys why this SaaS will whatever, right? What is the value proposition? So you need to kind of know. There's a lot of things you need to know at that point, I guess, is my point. So that would be my. So at the end of the day, I mean, obviously you're going to need to niche down maybe a couple of levels, and I do think so. Some basics really quick before I go into that, but some basics on cold email in general as a service. They're going to want to be selling something that's at least $5,000, and I would say that's first year value, not lifetime value. If you can be selling something that's $5,000 first year value, basically meaning they pay the SaaS for that level of company costs $5,000 in the first year of the contract and goes on from there. That's where you're going to see the most ROI. That's how you're going to be able to get the client ROI and actually make the thing make sense from a money standpoint. So that's a cold email basic, I would say. You just want to always go after companies that are selling higher ticket stuff, and you want to specify where your qualifications are. If they sell something that's $2,000 first year value, that could be fine depending on your pricing, but you want to make sure that that's going to get them ROI. You want to see how many of these deals they generally close. There's a lot of things you want to know, and if they don't have answers to all of it, it may be a little bit difficult to promise much or et cetera, et cetera. So answer to the question, best B2B SaaS niche to sell cold email to. I would say first examine your motives, because you've got, from SEO to paid ads to content writing to, there's just a myriad of services, agency type services, that you can freelance or sell as an agency and outsource to all kinds of SaaS companies, right? And you can start to sort of qualify them based on other things. That'll help them a lot and solve a lot of their pain points. You also have, if you're going to sell cold email, the question is answered by basically saying enterprise level, bigger deals, multiple seats, enterprise level features. They have a tier to sell only to enterprises. Would be sort of the sub niche of B2B SaaS. Okay, so enterprise B2B SaaS. Going down from there, you're going to want to probably get a little bit more specific and kind of work with a certain type of company, like a certain type of SaaS, whatever that may be, however you want to classify that. I think that a lot of this comes down to you, your business, your vision for your agency, your vision for the results you're looking to get and all that kind of stuff. You just want to know what you're interested in to go out there and pursue. It's not all about who has money and I'm going to go sell this service to them. It's like saying okay, I'm I'm really, I took a course on web design and now I just want to sell web design to anyone. You can do that and you can go that route. But yeah, a lot of times it works a lot better if you have some passion in the thing first and you want to get into that industry. And again, with B2B SaaS, I would say if you don't know the industry very well, you don't know how those companies work or how their billing works, or those terms like churn and LTV and all these things, I would say you definitely want to, it might even benefit you to partner up and work in a SaaS company, or get hired and work in a SaaS company, use your cold email skills for that to go get a job in a SaaS company, so you can really learn the inside and outside of that kind of company and how it runs and how you can help them specifically. Or again, you can dive in and just start getting into it and realize that they have to have an enterprise tier for you to work with them via cold email. Okay, again, subscribe down here if you want to get more of these videos and get notified and everything like that. Comment below if this is interesting. If you have any questions, I know I covered a lot here. It's sort of sort of a multifaceted question. So let me know if you have any questions or comments or insights on what I'm talking about, anything to add. Always appreciate that. And also use the comments section if you want to request a video, if you have any specific questions you want me to make another video on. Always appreciate that. So thanks again.